Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and it's the Smut-a-thon this week. So it is Monday morning and I am in a hotel and I thought I would do like a quick get ready with me. I know the lighting is terrible because there's this like lighted mirror right here, but it's even gonna be difficult to do my makeup. But I figured we'd talk, I'd do my hair and my makeup and get ready for work. So this is week 2 of vlogging for me, which is kind of fun. I'm wanting to, in 2019, start doing this like on a normal daily or a week, not a daily. So I thought doing all of these readathons in December might kind of like help me along the way. So I am by no means a makeup expert, so like I'm probably doing all of this wrong, but that's okay. You watch me for books, not for makeup. If you watched me for makeup, you'd be in the wrong spot. So it's the Smutathon, which means that I'm reading all romance this week, which I'm kind of excited about, to be perfectly honest. Romance and smut are kind of what get me out of reading slumps. So I'm excited about it because I haven't had the greatest past like 5 or 6 weeks with reading. And I'm really close to my 100 goal, my 100 books in a year on Goodreads. If I could get to it, it'd be awesome. That'd be fantastic. Here's my plan for the week. I actually couldn't sleep last night, so I started 50 Shades of Grey. I promise I'm going into this with an open mind. I think it's easy to go into that book kind of with some preconceived ideas about it, and I don't want to do that. I want to go into it with an open mind. So I am doing that. I didn't hate the other 2 that I read. In fact, I think I gave the 3rd one 3 stars, which isn't bad for a romance book. But I hadn't read the first one. All I've heard is like the stuff that people talk about it. And I remember last year during NaNoWriMo, I was at this write-in, and it was with a couple of ladies that were writing romance, and they were just trashing 50 Shades. So that is the only really like criticism, that's the only like things that I've heard about it has been negative things. All that to say, I'm going into it open-minded. I'm going to make my own decisions about it. I'm on chapter 3 or 4 right now. I can't remember. And the storyline, honestly, is not bad. I already knew the storyline because I have seen the movie. I did choose the correct trope for it because page 5 was the words, I'm not supposed to be here, I'm in the wrong, like, that kind of thing. So it was very, like, different worlds, different classes kind of thing. So I picked the right trope. I think my problem with it, because the storyline is not bad, the problem is the writing. I question whether there was an editor. So there was this one part she was talking about like how many people were in the hardware store, and she used the words besieged by customers twice in 2 sentences. So it was like, the store was besieged by customers, so-and-so, so-and-so, and I were besieged by customers. And I was like, use a synonym, please. Get a thesaurus, please. That's the only problem. Like, that's the main thing that I'm like seeing a problem with, is more just the writing style than anything else. I haven't really gotten into like her inner goddess stuff yet, but some of the things, like when she talks to herself, is a little weird, but like that's just a character choice. I can respect that. It's not something I would have done, but it's a character choice. Can't talk and do lipstick at the same time. So, like I said, I'm not like, it's not gonna trash it, I'm not gonna hate it yet, but there's definitely some like just more writing errors than story errors right now. So it's obvious that she gets better, like her writing gets better And I've actually heard that even so with her newer ones, the one like 50 Shades from Christian's perspective, with her new one, Darker, being the like probably the best as far as writing style is concerned. So like I'm open to those. So, other than reading those things, they're that, and I haven't done much of it. I was watching Chelsea's day 7 of 'Tis the Season-a-thon vlog, and she unboxed or unwrapped this graphic novel called Sunstone, and it's like this very like sex positive graphic novel, and so she was going to be reading those for Smutathon. So I decided to look on Hoopla and see if Hoopla had it, and they don't have Sunstone, but they have a spin-off series of it called Swing, which is like about a couple that's swinging, which if that doesn't fit Smutathon, I don't know what does. So I'm going to add that to my TBR just as kind of something else to read that's a little bit, I guess, quicker to pick up. I'm thinking that maybe I'll do better. Like my go-to like teaching method for like telling people how to do readathons is to always add a graphic novel, and I didn't add a graphic novel into this last readathon, and maybe that's why I didn't do as well. So maybe that'll help me help also get out of the slump. I'm gonna be reading it on my phone, so like that kind of sucks, but who knows? I might love it. It looked really interesting. The graphic style looked really cool. I haven't like really kind of flipped through it really quickly, but I will let you guys know what I think of that. And then that'll also be something that's like on my phone, so when I'm at work and stuff like that, I can read a little bit at a time. So that's all I have for you right now. Goodness, it was like 9 minutes already. That's gonna have to be edited. Anyways, I'm gonna go to work, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Hello everybody, I just thought I would touch base with you guys really fast and check in and let you know that I have finished a book for the Smut-a-thon already. So we're off to a great start for the first day of the readathon. So I went ahead and I was telling you this morning, I downloaded on Hoopla Swing Volume 1, which is a graphic novel about swingers, and it's not really polyamory, but it was definitely like a swingers club and that kind of stuff, and it was so good. So I actually like read the whole thing on my lunch break. It was very short. It was 125 on my phone. It said 125 pages. I don't know exactly how many pages it was, so I'm not exactly sure, but it was really, really good. The artwork was fantastic. It was very educational in its delivery. There was, lots of stuff about consent and making sure that both parties were happy with what was going on. So yeah, it was really good. So I gave it 4 stars, just because it didn't, so it is volume 1, and there's only 1 volume right now, so the next volume comes out next year sometime, but I can't even find it on Goodreads, so I don't even know an exact date. It's just like when I finished, it said volume 2 coming 2019, so I don't know when, but yeah, so there was like this whole part at the beginning where like it talks about like the lifestyle and the like it had definitions for everything, and everything like it was talking about just making sure that it was a very positive atmosphere for everything. And so that was really, really interesting and cool, and I really like that. So the tropes that it could fit for could possibly be slow burn, because it was like building up to that, like the idea of swinging and things like that. So like the first part of it is like them having, meeting and having sex, and then like getting married, and then like it jumps forward, I think 10 years or something like that, and that's when they start like talking about swinging. So so it could be slow burn, could also be friends with benefits, because there was a one of her friends is kind of like part of that whole idea of swinging. So could be either one, and yeah, so I'm gonna finish up my work and call it a day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Say what you will about this book, but it is a floppy paperback, and I love my floppy paperbacks. I mean, yeah, it makes me happy.
Hello everybody. I've got like this red mark on me because I was laying down in bed and reading. Anyways, it is Tuesday. It's actually Tuesday night. I have not vlogged today,
But that's okay. I had not the greatest day today. Just so I didn't get to bed until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I woke up at 7. Just did not sleep well, and then this is TMI, but like my period started today, so I'm just not having like the greatest mental health day. And like adding on to that, like I'm not at home, I'm in a hotel by myself, there's nobody around that like I know, and my dog's not with me, so like I'm really missing her today. I know that was in last week's vlog too, but I missed her today too. And anyways, so I have some reading updates. I'm on page 230 of 50 Shades, and I'm trying to remind myself that I'm reading it critically instead of like reading it for enjoyment. So like the sex scenes, some of them are not, some of them are okay. They're not bad, but there's some that are just like not my cup of tea. But I'm trying to like get into the mindset of somebody might like it, so it's not like I can't just use my own personal opinions and personal desires, I guess, I don't know what the word is, tastes as a benchmark for if this was a good book or not. I can't do that. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm reading it in a way of like, is this book, like, is it written well? It's not. It's just not. Like, the story is good. The idea of the story, I am a sucker for the rich billionaire. I like those stories. I always have. But it's just like, I keep asking myself if she had an editor. Like, she literally used the wrong word. She should have used wind because it's present tense, and she used wound, which is past tense. But the rest of the sentence was present tense. So like that part of it bugs me more than anything else. And it's just really wordy. Like, it's a over 500 page book, and there are things on there that are just like, did we actually need to say that 4 times? Like, they literally word for word talk about the contract 3 times. Like, the contract is in there more than once. That's not necessary. Anyways, that's my 50 Shades update. Really hope you're liking these. I don't know. The other books that I have been reading, so I did start Merry Inkmas today because I don't like reading physical books when I'm like out in public when it's smut, because like covers are weird or like people just prejudge you. It is a thing. So I always read on my Kindle when I'm at lunch if I'm reading a smutty book. I've started Merry Inkmas and I just got into like maybe the 3rd chapter, and it's interesting so far, but like there's nothing that's happened. And then I was doing some research on The Wishing Season, which is the other book that I was planning on reading, and apparently it's a Christian romance, which is fine. Nothing wrong about Christian romances. There's just usually not a lot of steamy, smutty, sexy time in those types of books. So I've decided to not start that one yet. I'll probably read it at some point. I'm just not going to right now. So I started listening to the audiobook today of When Katie Met Cassidy, which is a female-female romance. And I actually kind of like it so far. So it's very stereotypical. Like, there's a lot of stereotypes already happening, which is a little frustrating. But the storyline is good so far. I've got about 5 hours left of the audiobook. It's a very, very short book. So hopefully I'll be able to finish that tomorrow. I'm headed out to go get dinner right now, and I will talk to you later. Bye. So I have to credit Rachel from Rachel Marie, because that kind of works. I feel better. That song was thanks to You're a Book Nerd Zoe, because she does this like name that song thing at the beginning of every video, and the one I just watched was that song, so it got stuck in my head. And it was a good song. And I'm out of breath now, which is not good, because that means I'm out of shape. Anyways, I'm gonna go take a shower and then I'm gonna read some more, but I probably won't check in until tomorrow. So have a good night. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday, which means that it's day 4 of this Smutathon. So for the 2nd week in a row, I did not vlog any on Wednesday, which is kind of interesting. I have some reading updates. I'm almost done with 50 Shades of Grey, and I will definitely finish it tonight. And I have a lot of things to say about it, and I will wrap it up all nice and pretty. But honestly, it wouldn't be a terrible book if she would have had an editor. Like, that's all I have to say about it. But I also have been reading some other things. So I finished the audiobook of When Katie Met Cassidy by Camille Perry, and it's a female-female romance about a girl who, or a woman who kind of falls for this other woman, and it isn't like she was engaged to a man, and so she's dealing with all that like sexuality and like trying to figure out who she is, which I liked. I did like that part of it, but like there were more stereotypes in that book than I would like to discuss. So many, oh my gosh. And it was not smutty. Like, it was not a sexy book. You would start having, like, they would start getting steamy and things like that, and it'd be like fade to black. And like, I need some female smut. I don't want that fade to black crap. So, I did not like it. I only gave it 2 stars. And yeah, it was disappointing because that was the book of the month pick, and usually like those are fantastic. So that was a little irritating. So I also have decided to DNF for now Mary Inkmas, just because it's like I got to I think I'm at like 35% and they haven't had sex yet, which is weird for a smutty book. So I've DNF'd it for now, and I'm coming to the conclusion that like I read, like I'm not tame at all. I'm into some weird stuff, but not like in a real life situation. Like, I think that might be what it is. Like, I'm really enjoying, like, so I'm reading 50 Shades and enjoying that part of it. This is really weird to talk about on camera, but like, I like reading about the BDSM stuff. And so I picked up this other Kindle book that was called As He Bids by Olivia Regal, I think. And like, that's about BDSM too, and about like this boss employee relationship, and like he becomes her, like she works for him, or she's interning for him, and then like he basically doesn't. It is a novella, so like you jump around a little faster, but like there definitely was more of a like, you're going to be my sub, not would you like to be. There definitely more of that. It's a little weird, but it's like I don't know, like I'm very much enjoying that part of it. I'm not in, like, that's not me. I'm not into that, like, physically, but I like reading about it. There you go. Might have been, like, way too much information for you, and you didn't need to know any of that. Yeah, so I have one more client I need to meet with, and now that I'm all, like, flushed and really embarrassed, I'm gonna go do that, and then I will talk to you guys later tonight. Bye.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's 11 o'clock. But I thought I would check in with you. I finished 50 Shades of Grey. And I have a lot of things to say about it. Unfortunately, my brain is not working very well. So, when I, like, do my wrap-up, I will talk about it. Because I feel like I need to, like, organize my thoughts a little bit. Here's the gist of it. I think I can give you that right now. It wasn't a bad book. Like, I feel like if she would have had an editor that knew how to edit, it actually might have been good. Like, speaking from a completely outside perspective, because obviously, like, I know nothing about the BDSM community, there are a few times where you're like, did she really consent? Like, because her thoughts are saying no. And you're, like, hearing her subconscious, specifically the period sex scene. She didn't say yes until after he already did it. So, there's like a gray area. See what I did there? So the majority of my problem comes from it being just terribly written grammatically. There are times where, like, she used the same word in 2 sentences to describe the same thing. I think I've talked to you about that already. Yeah, and then there was like, so wordy. Like, that's a 500-page romance novel. Knowing where the story goes, because I've read the other 2 books, I did see some foreshadowing that, like, maybe you wouldn't have seen if you read them in sequential order. So that I appreciated. Anyways, so it's my last night here in California. I leave tomorrow afternoon. I have to meet with 2 clients, and then I will drive to Sacramento and fly home and be home for the weekend and not work, and it's going to be fantastic. And then I have a full week of work at home, and then it's Christmas. So, yeah. Anyways, so I'm gonna, like, start drifting off to sleep, I have my Kindle and I'm going to continue reading As He Bids, which honestly is like the same story as 50 Shades, but like whatever. I mean, it's not. It's about an employee and a boss and an employee. Star rating for 50 Shades. I ended up rounding down to 2 stars. I kind of stole this from the dog-eared page. So she talks about how if she's ever like on like a between like half stars or whatever, which I don't actually technically do half stars, but like if I'm ever contemplating whether it should be like 2 or 3, you round up if the writing was good and you round down if the writing was poor. That's what I learned from her. It's been 4 minutes and I've just been rambling, so I'm going to talk to you later. But I just wanted to show you something. My light has an owl on it. It's been a long couple of days. Yesterday was a 10.5-hour day, and then today started at 6:30 in the morning. I had a conference call at 7, and today was a 9.5-hour day. So like, my brain hurts. But if I can continue reading this, which like, if I could stay up for another probably hour, I could probably finish it. So we'll see, and that would be 3 things in one day, which would be cool. All right. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Hi everybody, it's Saturday, so I haven't vlogged in a couple of days. I think I vlogged Thursday, but not Friday. Friday was just crazy, and yeah, it's been a long week. I'm home now. I'm back home, and I am sitting in the tire shop waiting to get my snow tires. So that's what they're working on right now. I am participating in the 24-hour readathon that Rachel Marie and Sophisticated Books are doing, and that is kind of going to wrap up my Smutathon. So I'm trying to remember what I updated you last on. I think I did finish As He Bids by Olivia Regal. I don't remember if I talked about this one or not, so I'm gonna have to rewatch my footage. Plus, I don't really want to talk about that book in public because it was yeah. So definitely like the BDSM aspect of it, and yeah, I'll talk about more when I feel a little more comfortable, maybe when I'm sitting in my car. But I did give it 3 out of 5 stars, so I did like it. And now I actually, so a couple days ago, I got a bunch of emails from NetGalley saying that I was approved for a bunch of arcs that were all like contemporary romance. So I was like, did I drunk request them? Because I don't even remember requesting these books. But I got approved for them, so I'm going to try to knock some of those out. So the first one that I'm doing is A Season to Dance. I don't remember who the author is, but I will let you know. I'll put a cover up here. It actually was published, or like the publication date was Thursday, so it actually just came out. But I'm going to go ahead and read it and review it, and we'll see. It's about a dancer who's has to come back into she left her town to go to Chicago to become to dance for Joffrey's ballet. And then she has to come back to her little small town for her mother's funeral. And then she meets she runs into her old boyfriend, and I'm assuming there's going to be tension and, a romance. So, yeah. So I'm going to talk to you later, and I will get back to reading. Bye.
Good evening, everybody. It is about 6 o'clock, and we are going strong in I think we've called it the Sophisticated Junkies readathon. It's put on by Sophie from Sophisticated Books and Rachel from Rachel Marie. So they're running it, and I'm participating in it to kind of round out Smutathon. And might as well say I'm doing pretty good. So I'm at 53% of A Season to Dance, and I really like it so far. It is a contemporary slow burn romance, kind of like a second chance. She leaves her small town and her boyfriend when she's in high school, and then 17 years later has to come back for her mother's funeral, and she's like kind of reliving all these feelings. I love anything like with a dancer or a gymnast or something like that, just because that's my background, so I'm kind of loving it. So anyways, I'm about to go take a bath and bring my Kindle with me and get some more reading done. So I will talk to you later. Bye. Hello, it is Monday morning, and I don't have any makeup on. I haven't put makeup on yet. I was in conference calls this morning, so I just didn't do it yet. Anyways, I thought we would go ahead and wrap up Smut-a-thon as it did end yesterday. I didn't film yesterday, I don't think. Jeez, I'm bad at vlogging. I promise. 2019 will be the year of weekly reading vlogs. Maybe. We'll see. It is a goal, so, we'll work on it. So, I figured I would just kind of quickly wrap up the books that I did read during the week. And yeah, I know I've talked kind of in depth throughout this vlog, but there are a couple of them that I did want to save my thoughts and opinions about. So, the first thing I read was Swing, Volume 1, which was a graphic novel, and it was about a polyamorous relationship, or a married couple that wanted to kind of try swinging and threesome and things like that. I loved this. It was so good. It was very sex positive. It was very educational. So it really taught, in order for you to have, this type of relationship, your partners, everyone involved has to be very involved and very consenting. And though it was very sex positive when it comes to that. So I did give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was way too short. I need more, and the next one doesn't come out until next year. So most of the stuff I did on e-reader, so I'm just gonna have the picture up here, but I do have a couple of physical books. So the next book that I read was 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. This book I gave 2 stars to, and I'm thinking I'm along the lines of, this would have been not a bad story, not a bad book, if they would have had an editor. The writing style just bugged me to no end, and I know this was started out as fan fiction, and so I don't know if maybe she just pulled what was down on the internet and then put it on a book. I don't know, but there is definitely some things that I saw that were just grammatically problematic, not even plot wise, not even talking about the storyline. We're just talking about the writing style and the words that were used in the verbiage. She used a word just completely incorrectly, and it was just it was cringy. It was so cringy. The book, though, the story of it, I didn't hate. I think it has promise, and I just wish it would have been written better. That's really my only concern. So yeah, so I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. As far as it being good representation of the BDSM community, I have no idea. That's not my world. That's not, I have no basis of understanding for what should or shouldn't be happening. So I cannot talk about that. That being said, I did find out that I like to read that stuff. That tended to be the subdom, any type of relationship with that tended to be my thing this week. That's what I wanted to read, and that's what I started gravitating towards. Which I don't know, so I was talking to Lainey about this on Twitter, and we're because she was kind of having that same thing where she was saying I read some really weird stuff and enjoy it, and if it's just tame and sweet, tends not to enjoy it as much. And so I think that we kind of came to the conclusion that it's just that it's so far from our reality that it's fascinating and intriguing. I don't know if that's true, but that's where we're going with it. So moving on to the next book that I finished. These aren't in chronological order, but this just makes more sense. So I finished As He Bids by Olivia Regal. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. This was something I had on Kindle Unlimited, and this was, again, a BDSM relationship, and this kind of delved even deeper into it, and it taught, it was a boss, head of an auction house, for art and fine art and things like that, and then there was this girl who came in as an intern, and they knew each other from high school, sort of, they went to the same school, weren't in the same grade, so they kind of knew each other, but there was, so basically he kind of starts becoming her dom, and takes her to these sex clubs and these I don't even, it's again, I said, it's so far from my reality, I don't even know what I'm talking about. So she has these interactions with this BDSM sex club, which I think was also really interesting because it was another side of that I, again, know nothing about. So, I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. It was very good. It was very short. It was 2 volumes, or 2 parts to the same book, and it was very interesting, and I liked it. I also liked the fact that the protagonist in here is a person of color, so he was
biracial. She was Haitian German or something like that. So she wasn't, so there was a little bit of diversity there. She was also, it kind of talked about the fact that she was a plus size. Not like, didn't use those words, but talked about like having curves and like having, like when she had to put on a corset, she, you know, was, I don't remember the exact wording of it, but basically telling, like saying that like she definitely like has some extra love. So being a plus size woman and like not ever being able to see myself in romance novels as the protagonist, because a lot of times they are like, you know, the size 2, dark brown hair, perfect figure, you know, that kind of thing. And so being able to see someone like in that protagonist role as someone who is not that size 2, that was refreshing and I enjoyed that. The next book that I listened to on audio was When Katie Met Cassidy by Camille Perry. Oh, I wanted to love this book so much. You don't see adult contemporary. I have a lot to my head now. Wow. Happy Monday morning. So, you don't see a lot of female romances in adult contemporary. This was a book of the month selection. This had all the potential to be so good. And like I lost count of how many stereotypes there were. So Cassidy is the butch woman who wears men's suits and men's underwear and doesn't like women's clothes, which is a thing. I'm not saying that, but I think that when uneducated people talk about lesbians, then that's what they either think of, like girls having pillow fights or like the butch kind of men's clothes wearing women. So like stereotypes, you had like a butcher who was a lesbian. Like there was a very I don't know what to say other than like it was just so stereotypical, and it was just like we were just checking off boxes on what everybody thought of a lesbian stereotype. That was in that book. There was that, and then also like every time they'd have sex, it'd be a fade to black. This is not a YA novel. This is an adult. We can have some smut. Anyways, the more I like talk and rant about this, I really want to give it a 1 star. I gave it 2 stars because I liked the whole part about like Katie kind of coming out, and like she was engaged to a man at the beginning of the novel, and so then like you kind of go through her whole journey of, you know, falling for a woman and what that means and everything like that. So I did enjoy that part of it. Like literally that's all though. This book was so irritating. On to happier things. The final book that I read for Smutathon, and this is the one that I read over the weekend, was A Season to Dance by Rebecca Heflin. This was an ARC that I had received and actually came out Thursday, the 13th. So this book was so freaking cute. This was a very sweet small town romance about a professional dancer who left her town 17 years ago to pursue her professional ballet career, and then has to come back 17 years later for her mother's funeral, and has to deal with everything that kind of comes along with that, losing her mother, finding out, you know, her mother had cancer to begin with. And then like, so Zach is her old boyfriend from when she was in high school, and she left him to go to Chicago, and so he's still there, and so there's like that second chance romance thing, and it was just, oh my gosh, it was so cute. The town reminds me of Stars Hollow. It was beautiful, and it was touching, and like it was still like that wasn't the main plot of it. I mean, there was a plot to it. That's what I meant to say. There was a plot to it. There was a little bit of a mystery. There was this part about her trying to figure out who her birth father was. And while those subplots I don't think were unnecessary, I do think that they dragged a little bit, and it was a little dull, I guess. It could have been amped up a little bit. It was a little anticlimactic. We knew who the person that committed the crime it was. We knew from the beginning. It was no mystery. But there's still, I mean, it was still super cute, and there was definitely some sexy scenes. It wasn't like an erotic romance where like every time you turn the page they're having sex, but it was still very, you know, very good, little smutty. Overall, highly recommended it. Gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
So those are the books and graphic novels, everything that I read during Smut-a-thon. Obviously, this was a much, much better reading week than my previous vlog. And I really think that's just because smut tends to get me out of reading slumps. I really want to go back in and read and you know, get back into the books that I was reading. I do think that there are a couple of books that I'm going to be kind of putting off on my Pop Sugar Challenge. They were 2 books that, they're the only 2 challenges I have left, but they're just not books that I'm interested in reading. That's why they got pushed back to December, hoping that I would just kind of get to them eventually, and I just have no desire to read them. And I think that going into this month, or even last month, there were, I was just kept thinking about those books, and I think that may have contributed to my reading slump, and I don't want that to do it again. So I think that I'm probably going to end the Pop Sugar Challenge at 47 to 48 books, and well, it's fine. Like, I'm good with that. And next year's prompts I do like a lot more, so I think that I'll be able to kind of fit them into my reading taste a little bit better than this year has. So all right, that is all that I have for this Smutathon. Holy crap, that was a whole, like, it was 12 minutes. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this vlog, because it's a whole heap of a mess. It's probably gonna end up being a real long vlog. Oh well. Anyways, I hope that you guys have at least had a little bit of fun watching me read smut and getting a laugh out of things. I don't know. What am I here for other than your enjoyment and entertainment? So, that is all I have for you today. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button down below that you can do so. And until next time, I will see you later.